Hi there, I'm Teacher Jenny of the Study Zone. I'm here at the moment to talk about the effects of the lockdown 2 years after we started this lockdown thing in March 2020. At the beginning of 2020, we had a whole lot of kids going to school, new uniforms, new school bags, piles of books on their backs. Some of them went to preschool, some went into grade 1, 2, 3. And this lasted for 6 weeks. On the 17th of March 2020, we had to close our schools for COVID-19 lockdown. This was supposed to last about 4 or 5 weeks. And it was the Easter holiday, so nobody really minded. But I'm sure most of you parents can picture this. It's 2 years later. The final opening up of schools was on the 15th of February 2022. So your bright young child of maybe 5, 6, 7 went into school, all new uniforms, all new everything, bright and eager to learn, and 6 weeks later they were shut down. We were locked down for nearly 2 years. Eventually, at the end of June 2020, we could open up the primary school for the bigger kids. And all we had at that point was 2 days a week on shifts. We had half the children in our schools. We had to strictly adhere to regulations of sanitizing, regulations of wearing masks. Kids had to be a certain distance apart. They did their lessons, took a lot of homework home, and everyone was trying their best to help them to get by. Well, when your child finally got back to preschool, it was October 2020. So that means that virtually more than half the year had been spent at home. We get on to 2021, and the children who were supposedly in grade R were graduated into grade 1. The children who were in grade 1 were graduated into grade 2. The children in grade 2 to grade 3, and so on and so on. The fact is that there were a lot of potholes in their learning during the lockdown period, plus they were not allowed to do any active sport, no socializing, nothing that was essential to a child's development at that time, which is the foundation phase. Now, we get to 2022, and February the 15th, schools were allowed to go back to normal. Well, if your child has spent 2 years in front of the TV, or 2 years trying to do lessons online, or 2 years of granny, siblings, you as parents all trying to keep this child's schoolwork going, they now have to move into big school, they have to move into a classroom with other children, they're allowed to play sport. And what we've been finding is, first of all, the gross motor skills that we're supposed to develop in the foundation phase did not develop. You find your child has low muscle tone, they don't know their left from their right, they can't balance, generally, the fine motor skills have been the thumbs on the remote of the TV, or the remote of the TV games, the control mechanism for the games. They don't know how to actually hold a pencil. They don't have the strength in their hands to hold a pencil, and the focus of writing, which means they see something, they get their neural path development through the brain and down the arm to the hand, so that the pencil hits the right line and they can copy what they're looking at. This hasn't been practiced. This hasn't been developed. Think about this. If you want to write, you pick up your pencil, you get your paper, and you write. It's second nature. It's not second nature to your child because your child missed all that developmental time during lockdown. All the repetition of picking up the pencil, focusing, finding the line, and copying what they're seeing didn't happen. So we find ourselves now with quite a traffic jam in the foundation phase. And that means we can't say to a child who missed grade R and is now trying in grade 2 to write that he must go back to the baby class. First of all, his body's grown. He doesn't fit into those chairs anymore. And secondly, it's an insult to your child. He didn't cause lockdown. So what we've done is we have multi-grade classes as we do in Montessori. We have 4 to 7 year groupings. At the end of the 4 to 7 year phase, when the child has done everything, and they don't get classified as, oh, that's a grade R work and that's a grade 1 and you have to go back and do this. The books and things for that phase are there. They play detective when they know what's going on, and they find the things that they missed, and they have great joy in conquering them. It's almost like a detective finding the missing pieces, and they have a lot of fun, and we get back onto mainstream so that at the end of the 4 to 7 years they're through grade 1 and they've filled in all the pieces. Plus, they've been in a group with their same age group. They can socialize. Plus, we get them outside, running, playing, doing basketball, doing soccer, learning their left from their right, learning to balance. They're out there stretching their legs, running, and getting their muscle tone up. We're having a great time on our COVID catch-up program.